ko may jokes ka, wala naman pala. Anyway, now going to the Department of Anesthesia, I'd like to call in Dr. Leah Montemayor. She's also the wife of Paul Montemayor, our vascular surgeon.
This piece was derived from an introductory speech for Dr. Tico when Sir was honored as the guest speaker of another esteemed medical school's graduation ceremony way back in 2012. It was composed by Dr. Paul Montemayor, my husband. Allow me to read it for him. I first met the boss when I interviewed for the surgical program at the old medical city some 30 odd years ago. My impression of him was quite similar to one encountering a movie star in the flesh. Swaggering into that old sweltering auditorium where residency interviews were taking place, he looked very youthful, about 20 years younger than his 64 years, sporting Charles Bronson shades. Ex-president of the Philippine College of Surgeons, board examiner of the Philippine Board of Surgery, chairman of surgery at the Lourdes Hospital, and at that time, president and medical director of the Medical City General Hospital. Everyone knew who he was. Loud, very alpha male, with a debonair flair for drama he was. It was Chito Salud who convinced me to apply at the TMC. I made a leap of faith by choosing a small private hospital. I had emerged from a closed academic world where it was implied that surgical training was shoddy and inferior outside PGH walls. On the contrary, my stint as a TMC surgical resident revealed that great surgical training meant observing, then assisting, then operating, alongside the best surgeons of the country, to see one, do one, teach one. I refused to obtain my knowledge, skills, and attitude from senior residents. I wanted to learn my surgery by distilling knowledge, skills, and attitude from the most skilled, loved, and busiest practicing surgeons of that time. Oh, the knowledge the boss filtered down to us. The nuances of surgical history taking, the logic behind surgical decision making. It compelled us to master our surgical theory, lest we be left out of his surgeries. You had to recall at any time the latest current clinical detail of the patient, literally at the drop of a hat. One correctly mastered pre-op, intra-op, and post-operative surgical management of private paying patients who expected the best care, the right and real-world way. Oh, the skill, how surgical fields were dissected out by the boss to resemble a quaint drawing from Netter's Atlas of Anatomy. Ah, those hands, yes, those hands, seemingly dense jungle-like surgical planes would suddenly open up and be revealed out of nowhere, lending to swift, and I mean swift dissection and exposure. How those darn blood vessels would literally flee from the dissecting scissors of Sir, creating an awesome, spectacularly bloodless field. Ah, those hands. We copied and aped his every move, his every nuanced shortcut, private hospital moves, other surgeons would call these maneuvers. Oh, you definitely learned attitude, emulating the finest of patient bedside manners when joining the boss, usually at 6 in the morning for rounds, which he elevated to an art form. How a patient racked with fear, anxiety, and doubt, vacillating, would be convinced to submit to the knife after the boss would masterfully present the patient's current medical situation, convincing the patient how surgery, though invasive and risky, would be of benefit. How the patient's eyes would light up as the boss entered the room, only to shine all the more brightly as he left it. How the unconvinced world would, few minutes later, be literally left begging to be operated on by this man. Such was his magic and his effect on people, his authority, his superpower. The boss convinced me all the more that medicine is the art of not merely healing the body, but the very mind of the patient. The skill to repair the body merely complements, but does not supersede, the elegance by which the surgeon gives heart to his art, and how he brings quality to the table of the doctor-patient relationship. He was the inspiration to countless generations of Filipino surgeons, many of whom are now among us. I am forever grateful to the Almighty to have experienced him and my superiors for the privilege of honoring this colossus of surgery in humble eulogy. And so, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students of the art and science of surgery and medicine, it is incumbent upon me, as he would often say, to salute you, sir, one more time, one final time, the Chairman Emeritus of the Board of Professional Services Incorporated, Dr. Augusto Perez Sarmiento.